welcome back to Saxthorpe Farms. And before we get into the real work, we are going to repair and service the 7250. So it's really damaged, but it's also done 45.5 hours. So at this point, we might as well spend the £6.5 servicing it rather than waiting those extra few hours. So that's one best part of 18 grand repair bill. So for the rest of this video, and I guess this game day, we're going to finish up the 4 grassworking contracts that we have. So in the last video, kind of around the field work, we got the fields mown and the 2 hay fields tedded. Anyway, they need windrowing, and then everything needs baling. The silage needs wrapping, and it all needs delivering, and then we'll see how much excess we get. And a lot of the reason for doing these is for the excess and also for the cash, so that we can get some more stuff. So, yeah, I probably wasn't using a big enough tractor last time. The T7 was maybe just about big enough. It was a bit short on horsepower, but in reality, probably needed to have used a bigger tractor. So, anyway, we got the job done, and we're going to stick the 7250 on the baler, and the T7 is going to do the windrowing. So that should be fine. Yeah. And then I think I've also got the 7230 finishing rolling the last field that we planted. So that's the last of the planting for this year. Everything else is going to be in the spring. So we might, field 7, our grass field, might need cutting next month. Otherwise, I think we're into pushing through to spring. That's going to be a mixture of feeding animals, selling the beef, and raising them and feeding them and selling them, putting stuff through the BGA. Want to expand the modular greenhouse once we've got the cash, and that will come from putting stuff through the BGA. And once we've expanded that, as we get more cash, we will expand the land, hopefully significantly, between the BGA and the greenhouse. Need to check, actually, I might still need to roll the grass that we planted before I skip ahead. So I should check that as well, and make sure and see if I need to do that, because it would really frustrate me if I didn't do that and then it just sat there saying it needs rolling continuously. There is a bunch of fertilizing, and maybe, don't think I need to do liming. I might do a quick check. But most of that work, I think, for the fields, I need to switch the baler on. The fields that I've planted, I'm not going to lime again. So they'll be what they'll be. I think they were all at a good state. So they need fertilizing, but we'll probably do that in the spring when the crops come up. And once we've got some digestate out of the BGA, then I'll think about spreading that on some of the other fields. So yeah, I might start to, and I'm not going to completely skip ahead because that'll take a while and that's kind of time consuming, and that would mean no video for a week on here. But what I might start doing is doing over a couple of videos, just try and push through into springtime. Just showing some of the highlights and things as we sell off crops and all that kind of thing. Hopefully make a bunch of cash, which might allow us in the spring to expand the land that we hold. I'm a poet, and I wasn't really aware of it. Yeah, that'd be good. I think hopefully this game here is going to be the game year that lets us achieve. I'm kind of thinking either way, this might be the last game year on here, the year we're going into, just in terms of trying to wrap this save up. With the time we've got left and the other things that I want to do, Or it might be that I try and do more in the background. I don't know. Bringing Glenartham back. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see how we get on. With the BGA coming online and having a lot of silage to sell, that might be less of a problem, particularly if we start getting more into producing silage, which is something that I want to do. So we've planted more grass. We own one grass field. I'm going to look at expanding the grasslands that we own. So yeah, that should get better. It should get better. So I've had courseplay, windrowing this field as well. I'm going to crack on with baling it. So I did all of I baled the hay while courseplay windrowed. If you remember, when I had courseplay mowing the 2 fields for silage, I saved the courseplay courses. So the plan is going to be to get courseplay to bale and wrap while I do bale delivering and collecting and delivering, so that we can hopefully get this done a little bit more efficiently. Yeah. It's something that I mentioned in the comments on the Valley of the Old Farm video. Certainly with the setup that I've got here, grass working contracts aren't feeling quite so efficient at the moment for making cash compared to things like the forestry setup I have on there. Now, that forestry setup is quite well optimized, shall we say, in that the sell point is next to the plot of land that we own, and basically I chop the tree up, hook it up to the back of a forestry tractor, tow it to the sell point and sell it. So it is much quicker. Rather than, baling contracts are traditionally really good at, and we do earn decent money off of this, and we get, I think the main thing is we get a lot of fodder out of it that we need for the animals. We're very low on hay. We get a decent amount of hay out of these 2 contracts. So yeah, there's that. That's partly it. And we'll get a lot out of putting the excess silage through the BGA. So yeah, it's kind of hard to tell, I guess. Kind of hard to tell. Until I do the series in FS25, where I'm going to try and keep track of the finances properly. But we'll see. Actually, so last time I was whinging a bit about the GPS design for FS25, and Mark asked me how would I do it differently, and Marnux was kind of prodded me a bit on it as well. But I think the problem is, and it's a fair point, you guys have a fair point, the way I would do it differently might exclude a lot of players, because I would probably make it too complex for the average player. Because probably what I would do is have some sort of interface similar to, not necessarily courseplay, but maybe the controller interface that courseplay initially came with, possibly, or because I don't necessarily think the GPS needs the ability to do headlands, in my mind. As someone who uses GPS a lot in game, I normally wouldn't use it to do headlands. There is a headland mode built into one of them. Can't really think. Maybe it's built into headland management. One of them has a headland mode which helps you do headlands automatically. But normally, the way I've seen most people use it is you would drive however many headlands, and then you set up GPS. And I think probably the way that I would have thought about doing this is I would have the game calculate the course based on an assumption of you're doing some headlands, but only create the up arrows, and then have an enable disable button, and have a button that enables and disables it, and have that lock onto the nearest one. I think that's how I would do it, but maybe that's because I'm more used to using the mods, and I use them in a particular way, and I understand that Giants have designed this to be suitable for everyone. So yeah, maybe my comments are tailored to a certain type of user. Anyway, a user that should have learnt to switch the freaking lights on his tractor. I do apologise. Quite a lot of this video is recorded into the evening and has a lot of work with lights on. That's basically because I needed to feed the cows and I didn't have the time to do that. So yeah, I updated Maze Plus. Maze Plus has updated. I didn't get any error messages when I loaded the game, so my save is safe. I also updated the animal food additions. And I mean, the only difference is it's massively increased the food trough capacity. Doesn't bother me. I'm not going to be filling them anyway. But I really needed to feed the cows before I could sleep. So that's why these have been done in the dark. So yeah. Most of it's okay, but some not so much. By the end, it's getting pretty dark. And I ended up, when I was collecting the bales towards the end, I did cheat a smidge, and I used ProShot. I also drove past the entrance to the sell point. I used ProShot, which lets you... I use it to take thumbnails, but what it lets you do is when you're taking your thumbnail, you can adjust the time of day. So I could put the lights back on and see if I'd missed any bales. Yes, I know it's cheating. Do I care? No, not at all. That's why I'm telling you. The other approach you could use if you really wanted to do it realistically is you could use Courseplay and use the bale collection and have a worker with bale sonar pick them up. But yeah, whatever you want to do. So contract on field 43 is complete. So we'll collect that because I needed to save the game. We'll collect it in a bit actually, because I needed to save the game and finish for a bit. But we are now in field 3 with the baling and the wrapping. I should have gone to, this is what I'm saying, I should have gone over to field 6 and collected the hay bales, because I was doing that in the complete dark and they don't stand out as well as silage bales. So that's why I was saying that I used a little bit of a trick to be able to see them. Yeah. And generally, the Courseplay bale wrapper worked pretty well. He got stuck a couple of times, but only a couple of times. Yeah, saved me a bunch of time getting this done. I had a couple of bales that didn't instant ferment. These two, which was kind of weird. Not sure why. One of those things, you know, I'm not worried. We'll just grab them later on and they can ferment on our farm. It's fine. We had more than enough to deliver to complete the contract. I've set auto load to only pick up grass silage because there are unwrapped bales in the field as well. And that's why it's not picking up those two there, because they are conditioned grass still. As you will see when we walk up to them. So there we go. They are fermenting, but they are not grass silage. No idea why they didn't insta-ferment. For some reason, the game decided they were not contract bales. So not a big deal. So many excess bales, we'll just take them back to the farm and let them ferment and we'll feed them later. Yeah, and nicely for this contract, the delivery point is the BGA across the road. But yeah, setting the pickup type to grass silage means we're not randomly grabbing the unwrapped bales, which is a real pain. And using universal auto load makes this so much easier. Yeah. Talking about FS25, knowing Mr. Loki, I am sure that very quickly that mod will be available via his GitHub, assuming he can get it to work. Even if it's not available through ModHub. And I guess the thing with going to the new version of the game is a lot of the mods where modders have a GitHub, it's worth signing up to their GitHub to get notifications when they start releasing mods like that, because that will be good. Also, let's say thank you to the patrons and the YouTube channel members, where I work out, for some reason, I couldn't think where I needed to take these in this BGA, which is a base game BGA essentially, and has a trigger right in front of it. Yeah, let's say thank you to the patrons and the YouTube channel members. Appreciate you guys supporting the channel. A few new patrons recently, so I appreciate you guys signing up to support the things that we do here. And also, we're going to keep plugging the Giants partner code, because I am still about 2 or 3 copies of the game away from Bronze Partner. So yeah, if you're thinking about pre-ordering, there'll have been a QR code on the screen, which if you use that will take you straight to the Giants website to pre-order, or you can use my partner code Disturbed when you check out on the Giants website. And I have confirmed by chatting to our friendly resident alien that yes, if I hit bronze, I should get access the Friday before release, so we can do some pre-release work. Or mainly, I think, be doing stuff on the tutorial side. So try, if I can, looking at profitability of animals and crops and things. If I can, I'll try and do some streams so you guys can ask questions about stuff. Yeah, prepping a few things. It'll be good. It'll be good. And yeah, it'd be so awesome if I do. It'll be kind of mind-blowing for me that I will have achieved that. All thanks to you lot. So yeah, very much appreciated if and when we do hit it. Like me hitting the microphone. I'm just grabbing the last few bales. So this Horseplay did get stuck at this point, and I decided to take over, and I'm just doing the final headland. And this is why Horseplay was getting stuck, because the bales were right on the edge of the field, and it was occasionally going up onto the berm that runs around the edge of the field, and I thought it was easier just for me to do a lap of the field, grab any unwrapped bales, wrap them, then we'll get them all loaded up. And I'm not going to deliver them yet, so for a similar reason as I said previously. I needed again to take a quick break, so I'm collecting them all and I'm going to go stack them at the BGA. Still got to go and do the other smaller field, which I can't remember the number of, 44. So I'm going to go bale and wrap those. I'm not going to bring those down to the BGA because I think they will all be spare, but I'm then going to get the telehandler, bring that down to the BGA and individually load bales until we complete the contract, so that we can maximise the number of bales that I get to keep. And then we'll take those up to our BGA and feed them into that BGA, because we'll get the electric charge and methane rather than just the value of selling grass silage bales. So yeah, that's the plan, to kind of maximise return and make the delivery easier. So the rolling has finished. So as I tab through, that tractor is back at the farm, waiting to be serviced and everything repaired and cleaned and refueled, ready for the future. I've got a lot of, I think, repairing and major servicing and refueling and stuff. I'm trying to do that over the winter with the money, some of the money that we make, so that we're good for spring. And all of the spring farming that we're going to have to do, that feels like a sensible idea to me. Start the year with everything good and in good condition. Yeah, so collecting on the hay contract, so 10 grand for that. I think I've still got to go and collect the hay bales from field 6. Yeah, because it's not quite dark enough yet. And what I'm doing here is we only need 32,000 litres to finish the contract. And there's 6,000 litre bales. So if I grab 6 bales, that will finish the contract and the rest are ours. So that's going to be quite a lot, because this is a decent sized field. I think I'd quite like to buy this grass field next, because it's not too big, so it shouldn't be too expensive. That's what I'm thinking. Because I think field 3, although it's a big field, is probably too expensive for us to buy. I think this would be a good one to get. I mean, the downside is we're losing the contracts, but the value we'll get from putting the silage we'll get off of there through the BGA will be way worth it. Way worth it. Jeez. I apologise for using terms like that. So this is the last few bales after, as I say, doing a bit of cheating with ProShot, a bit of bale hunting. we've got a fairly full trailer actually of 3 hay bales, which is really nice. Clearly the farmer wasn't expecting quite so big a yield, let's say. Yeah, let's say that. I'm trying to find my way out of the field, and then we'll strap the bales down. And I think it's like 132,000 litres of hay. 138, not bad. I almost remembered the number. So we can collect that contract. So I think we're at about 20 grand. So we're looking at maybe 49-ish thousand pounds plus the bales. So yeah, as I said, I brought the telehandler over because there's not, I think we need to deliver something like 9 bales in total. And I figured this was the easiest way to do that rather than try and load up the correct number or deliver too many. So probably between videos, because I've unloaded the hay bales up at the farm as well. They need stacking. I've got the other silage bales. What I might do is just move the silage bales up to the other farm, get the cows fed, skip ahead to the morning, and then we'll feed the BGA in the morning. I want to start feeding the silage from the clamp into the BGA. Start getting a load of cash in from that. From that, upgrade the greenhouse. And then those two start looking at clearing down debt, buying more land, and maybe upgrading machinery then. Because we can look at things like the forage harvester, we can look at upgrading through the summer. And by upgrading, I mean buying an extra one. So we've got 2 when we're making, because we'll be continually making money from things like the BGA and the greenhouse. The other thing that we could do is maybe expand some of the animals, maybe the dairy or the beef, but we'll see. Maybe the dairy would be better to expand, although that takes a while to come online. So yeah, maybe the beef would be better to expand. Anyway, I think we're almost done, so might be the last set. Let's see. Yep, that is, I think, us done. No, we've got one more stack to go. One more. Yeah, 16,500 litres. That'll be one more stack of bales. So I think we got 6, 12, 3, 9, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 bales from here. And a reasonable number off the other field as well. So yeah, decent amount of grass silage spare. So yeah, I think we're done. So if you enjoyed the video, click the like button. If you've got any comments, questions or suggestions, even if I don't respond to them particularly cheerfully, they are welcome. So stick them below. So we'll be back next time processing a bunch of this maize silage and trying to progress through winter towards spring. And yeah, we've now got we've got nearly 1 million litres of maize silage and 500,000 litres of grass silage. It's got to feed the cows as well as feeding the concrete cow with BGA. But yeah, lots of it, so that'll be cool. Anyway, I will see you guys next time for more Saxthorpe Farms.